What is up, everyone? Happy World Space Week, and thank you for joining us here for this World Space Week event, a live Q&A with Dr. Norah Patten.
Hello. Oh, I'm so excited to be back. I can't believe it's a year already since we did the last one.
I know.
But great to see so many amazing questions coming in. Thank you for all the questions so far. We're so pumped to get through as many as we can and keep them coming in.
Totally, because we are live and we have the chat open so we can see all your guys' comments coming in, and loads of them, which is great. Questions galore, and we're going to try and get through as many as possible. There are many coming in though, and it's so cool to see schools from all over the country join us and people from across the world. We have someone from Bermuda, so welcome from Bermuda, but we have schools from everywhere. Let's see who we got. We have, first of all, we've got Ballymig National School. I can see they are all ready to go. Who else we got? St. Colm Kills, brilliant. We've got ACC in Athlone. We've got
St. Andrews in Lucan.
Miss Tarrant's 5th class in the convent primary in Mallow.
We have loads.
We have loads. Mohammed, age 11, Knockline in Dublin.
Knockline.
What's up, Mohammed? And wow, girls' school, 5th class Beaumont Girls National School in Cork. We can see you all live in the comments, so drop in your questions, say hello to us, let us know where you are, who you're watching with, and big hello to Ursula as well. Thank you for joining us. Great to see so many faces.
Rome, Italy.
Oh, we've got Rome, Italy on the live stream. Brilliant. Very cool, because we're super excited, and
absolutely,
we're really looking forward to the Q&A, and we got lots of questions sent in as well on social media, so we're going to get through a few of those as well, and we can see your questions live, and we'll get through as many as
we can
possible.
Yes.
So we will also have a competition at the end of the show, but I think we'll keep the details.
Let's keep the details.
Yeah, you'll find
so you gotta
more.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, you gotta find out more about the competition and how you can win a space goodie pack. So we'll let you know more. Don't worry. Okay, so Norah, what a year it has been.
Absolutely. I just was thinking, before we came on live, what a year it's been in terms of space exploration, human space flight. So much has happened.
Very busy.
Since we sat here a year ago. July was just an epic month for human space flight. Both Blue Origin and Virgin Galactic had their very first flight to suborbital space with people on board. So really exciting time for us. All of us who are training and hoping to fly as researchers, those flights were absolutely key. And so they had people on board. First time they've flown the people like that to space. So a massive year, massive month. You think,
super
that
exciting as well.
In the space,
let us know if any of you watched those launches. They were amazing to watch. I love the coverage that they do of them. They're amazing because you get to hear from different space experts. They're telling you what's exactly going on with the launch, the timing of the launch, when the boosters are firing, how far they are. It's so exciting, really cool to watch them. Let us know in the comments if any of you guys have watched any of the launches recently, because I know we certainly have.
Absolutely. And I think for a lot of us watching, one of the really exciting things with the Blue Origin launch was that Wally Funk was one of the people on board, and Wally has spent most of her life trying to get to space. She in July became the oldest person to fly to space, so I think at 82 she flew to space, and I think it really gave us all a big boost to say, if there's something really big and ambitious you have that you want to do in life, she continued on and she finally made it happen in July. So we were super excited to see her
sitting
really on that flight.
Shows you there's no time limit for your dreams.
Absolutely.
Especially not these days. And if you're passionate about something, to stick with it, and that your dream, no matter what age you are, is always possible. Even though we know that many of the people tuning in today have got their whole space lives ahead of them. We've got 5th class in Inch National School, Calais in County Cork. We've just got so many. Miss Kyo's 5th class in Dunboyne. Oh, got so many. Oh, from Newtown White, we've got loads from Clare Galway National School, 2nd class. Big shout out to you guys as well.
Limerick Educate Together.
Oh, awesome. Loads of people asking, how have you been, Nora? We've got that from Chloe. And 4th class in Clooney National School, Clare. Oh, this is awesome. Athlone Community College. Oh, this is fantastic. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We have lots of your questions that we're going to get through, and we can see a lot of them here as well. But massive year in it. Like, I remember watching in the early part of the year, we had Perseverance, the Mars rover, and Ingenuity, the first drone flown on another planet. How cool was that?
That was amazing. I thought, as an engineer, I was so excited and so just enthusiastic to see this helicopter take a first powered flight, controlled powered flight on another planet. I mean, it's just been a huge 12 months, hasn't it?
It's really exciting and only due to get more exciting. You have SpaceX and NASA doing amazing things. You've the Starlink, all the new satellites sent up. You've Starship, which is hopefully Elon Musk's way of trying to get us all to Mars. And you've got a Blue Origin launch happening next week.
This month, yeah. Another human flight with Blue Origin. So loads to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
If for all of you space loving folk out there, keep an eye on their social media and on their platforms, because there's loads happening. Loads happening, to follow.
And there really is. And Nora, we had lots of questions sent in to us. Thank you for that, and I can see them coming in already. So will we bash through a few of the questions?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so we have the first question is coming to us from all the way from Cork Educate Together National School, and the question is, what is it like to float in zero gravity?
Great question, and actually I see a couple of related questions coming in on the chat, so that's a great one to get us kicked off.
Yes.
It's amazing to float in weightlessness. It's this, zero G microgravity environment. I've had an opportunity to take a flight in Canada where we actually got to feel what it was like to float weightless for about 15 to 20 seconds. And so on those flights, we flew as researchers. We had research payloads, like experiments with us on board, and we got to test them out. We got to float them weightless in front of us, and just amazing.
That's so cool.
It's an incredible experience. And I think one of the closest experiences we can have, or you can have, is when you're in a swimming pool and you're under the water and you have that kind of sensation that you kind of float a little. You have this kind of weightless feeling.
And would you practice in a pool underwater just to get used to moving?
Yeah, great example is that a lot of the astronauts who go to the space station and do spacewalks, so they're outside and they're fixing things or putting in new experiments outside the space station, they train for many hours in a big swimming pool. So they put on their suit and they go underwater and they train for many hours underwater to see exactly what the task is that they need to do. How do they do it? So yeah, great example is underwater training. And
training is a huge part of it, and there's lots of training that's done to prepare you for every eventuality, because I see that Anna Keys has posted in that if something goes wrong in space, would you freak out? So that kind of ties into the training and the amount of prep you do for any situation.
Yeah, for sure. And I know there was a question in from Ballinlig National School about my favourite part of training, or astronauts' favourite parts of training. But the training is so key, and there's multiple different elements to it. NASA astronauts and ESA astronauts and Canadian Space Agency astronauts train for many, many years before they go to space, up to the International Space Station. So all of the parts of the mission, everything from getting into the rocket, being in the rocket, launching to space, docking with the space station, all of those elements are trained for in advance. So, there's no kind of unknowns then. So typically you wouldn't freak out because you're well prepared and you're briefed in terms of what would happen, what procedures to take. So you're well prepared.
A great story of the Apollo 11 moon landing where they were almost out of fuel.
Yeah.
Seconds left. And you can hear the footage of how calm they were. they prepare for this, they train for this over and over again for those eventualities as well. Some questions coming in that are just catching my eye. Andrew from 5th class in Clooney National School, were there any games you played when you were experiencing zero gravity on the microgravity flights?
Games, no, I suppose we...
Like Scrabble?
Actually, what would your favourite game to play in microgravity? Well, I'd love to know what kind of
it'd
games
have to be
you'd
something
like to
you
play.
could hold on to. Like chess would be dreadful. You'd be like, just kind of, oh, king, my king was there. That was, your pawn was way back there. Or some crazy, like, hungry hippos with the balls flying everywhere.
So yeah, cool. I suppose that's the thing. Everything is so different in microgravity. You know, in this weightless environment, everything floats. So, you know, the experiments that you do are so different when they're floating there, and you have to handle them differently. Remember not to let them float off. So we had 2 parabolas where we were allowed to just get used to it and take a memento with us on the flight. But I'm sure on the space station they have lots of different ways to entertain themselves. I'd love to know, you know, what games they play, but I'd love to know what. Because
Nora, we have a video, and it might look like you're playing games. So we have a video that we can show you guys of you on the microgravity flight.
Let's play it.
Okay,
yeah, absolutely.
check it out. So here we are. What are you doing?
So this was one of the experiments we had on board, and you can see it floating there. But just an amazing experience. So I was passing it back and forth to Heidi, who was sitting in the seat just opposite, and it was all about looking at the fluid inside the experiment, how it was handled, all of those things. So might look like a game, but it was actually research that we were doing. Yeah.
We have another question coming in here from Melview National School in Longford, and they would like to know, what effect does zero gravity have on the body?
Yes, great question again, and I see some of them coming in on the chat about you know, what is it like in space for astronauts, and what happens to their body when they're in space. And it's really a key question that has been asked many times over the past few decades, as astronauts have lived now on the space station for 20 continuous years, almost 21 continuous years. We've had people living in space, which is amazing. So there's been a lot learned about the human body, how it adapts to this weightless environment. And I think, interestingly, if we go to Mars, you have 1/3 the gravity. If you go to the moon, you have 1/6 the gravity. And then on the space station, you have 0G, so microgravity, so they float, and that absolutely takes a toll as you transition from Earth's gravity to the weightless environment of floating around in the spacecraft in space. So your balance and your orientation can be affected. Some astronauts get motion sick, so they might vomit, because your whole system is just off.
Not good in space.
No, exactly. And also your bones and your muscles can lose mass. So they have countermeasures. So they work with doctors and, you know, different professionals, dietitians, all of these things to make sure they do the right exercises, they eat the right food, they take the right medication, so that they're as healthy, they stay as fit and as healthy as they possibly can when they're in this weightless environment.
What's cool is there are people whose jobs it is to study those particular things, and especially here in Ireland, there are people studying the effects of microgravity on the human body.
Absolutely.
And what's really cool is they learn these lessons from space, but then apply them to our lives, or people say with osteoporosis here on Earth. So using the knowledge gained from space to improve our lives here. Nora, I'm laughing at the comments, and I know you are too, because they're excellent. I'm particularly liking the responses to what games you play in microgravity, because Clooney National School, I think ping pong ball would be a fun game. Ping pong ball is one of my favourite games, but in space, I'm not sure you get very far past the first serve.
No.
Like, that would be funny. Dodgeball is hilarious. Dodgeball would be brilliant. That would be really cool. We're getting lots of questions about astronaut training from loads of guys. And again, big shout out to all of you tuning in, because we've got Rangashay and Rathfarnham Educate Together. We've got a big shout out to St. Kiernan's Primary School in Belfast, Loretti Primary School. This is awesome. There are so many of you guys. Sive from 5th class, big shout out, Sive. Go, Dr. Norah. We got so many cool ones. And we got David in Kilcoe National School. So many questions all about the astronaut training. So another question, and Sean Kay has this as well, from Sligo's #1 school, Bannonlig National School. What was your favourite part of training to be an astronaut?
Oh, for me, I always find this a difficult one to answer because the more programs I do, I come back and I think that was my favorite one. No, that was my favorite one. But it's an amazing opportunity, you know, with the commercialization of space has opened up opportunities for me as an Irish person. So the spacesuit testing and evaluation, the microgravity flights, I've really enjoyed learning these things and being able to experience these different things. So I find it really difficult to pick just one thing. There's been lots of many elements, and I just think, you know, getting to space and flying as a researcher will be the absolute coolest thing ever.
I think I just got kind of thought of something here from one of the questions coming in, and it made me think. So it's coming from Anniky's 4th class that made me kind of think, you do lots of training to prepare yourself for lots of different, how to behave, how to do your science experiments. And 4th class want to know, how do you wash or go to the toilet in microgravity? And I'm just wondering, do you train for those things, or do you find them out when you're there? Like, I'm sure you practice the science things, how to move, but then, like, do you practice how much you wash or go to the bathroom? Do you practice those things?
So the flight that I hope to take is the suborbital. So the likes of Blue Origin and Virgin Galactic, which flew this July with people. So for those flights, no, you wouldn't learn how to wash or how to go to the toilet because it's a quick flight. It's up and down. But for the astronauts who go to the space station, they're going for, you know, maybe a 6-month mission, maybe a year-long mission, so a long time. And they absolutely do train for all of those elements. They have a practice toilet in Houston where they learn how to use the toilet. So there's no surprises. And as well as that, I've heard a lot of the astronauts say that they're, you know, the people on the space station, the other astronauts on the space station pass the knowledge along. So whatever little tips they've learned, you know, to go to the toilet or to wash themselves, they'll pass it along to their colleagues.
Just so nobody ends up in a situation where they have to say, Houston, we've got a problem. So we have lots of questions coming in about food in space, which I think is extremely interesting. Great questions, guys. I know we have that coming in from Chloe Hayes from 2nd and 3rd class in Lewisborough National School in County Mayo.
How are you?
There we go. But there's so many questions coming in about food, and it's a great question as well. So we have another question as well. Jamie from Ballynlig would also like to know, what's the easiest food to eat in space?
Yeah, so this is, as Mark mentioned, we've loads of food coming, loads of food related questions coming in. So at Lone Community College, I see there what's the food like in space, and this is another aspect of going to space that needs to be looked at. It needs to be researched. It needs to be investigated, because you need to make sure you're getting the nutrients, but also, Dr. Sian Proctor, who is an amazing lady. Mark and I had an opportunity to work with last year as part of our Space Camp series. And she actually participated in this 4-month mission here on Earth, but where they were looking at food specifically for space missions. So it was a NASA-funded research program she did, and she actually spoke to us last year as part of our Space Camp series and spoke about all of the different types of food that are good for space, not so good for space. And essentially it's like going on a camping trip for 6 months. So if you think, what would you pack? You need
want to be prepared.
You know, stuff that lasts a long time. But they do get shipments of fresh food as well. You know, when the rockets go to the space station, they do get the fresh, fresh produce. But I thought, you know, Dr. Sian Proctor, like, just a legend. She recently, just a few weeks ago, got to fly to space on the Inspiration 4 mission, where she spent 3 days orbiting the Earth.
As the pilot of the mission.
As the pilot of the mission.
How amazing is that?
And I just thought that the Inspiration 4 mission is definitely worth giving a shout out today.
Totally.
First all civilian mission to space. They raised lots of money for a children's hospital in the US. But Sian became the first black female pilot of a spacecraft. So go Sian.
An amazing landmark on so many levels. And maybe some of you guys might have seen the documentary kind of documenting the journey, which is on Netflix, Inspiration 4.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's great. It tells you all about the crew, the background. You'll see loads about Sian, who is one of the most awesome, unique people you could meet. Full of so much happiness, and again, someone who had such a passion and stuck with her passions and dreams for years doing amazing work. And a few weeks ago, she flew as a pilot on the Inspiration 4. Amazing. Yeah. And she was so excited. You can see her. She was fist bumping like crazy, as you would. Amazing to see. And really cool that she taught us all about food and what to eat and what's good.
Dehydrated foods where the water is sucked out of it. And then they have like a little area on the space station where there's hot and cold water, and you put the pouch in and you get the water into the pouch. And so really interesting conversation, but we'll post that link
you wouldn't
afterwards.
be eating crisps or like anything like
crunchy.
No, nothing crunchy. Things
or crumbly.
Crumbly, not good. They'll clog the instruments. So but I can see so many food related questions, and again, I think it's because it's such an important thing it's a comfort thing as well.
Absolutely.
And it's so different up there, and even eating it as well, and there's specific times of when dinner time is and things like that. So,
and she had mentioned menu fatigue. So if you're on a 6 month or a year-long mission and you're eating the same foods all the time, menu fatigue kicks in, where you might get bit fed up of eating the same food.
So
it's that was our
I think that'd be one of my strengths. I could eat the same thing over and over every day for my whole life. Would not bother me. SpaceX, send me to space, please. We have a picture with Norah with Sian from our space camp.
Oh, let's show it.
Let's show them. That's us with the space chef.
Space chef Dr. Sian Proctor, yeah.
That is her, and that is from our Space Camp series, which we'll tell you more about at the end if you guys are looking for some really cool, interesting episodes.
Yes.
Teaching you all about the journey to space and your journey to space. And we do lots of daredevil-y stunts as well. Interviews as well. So we'll tell you how you can check that out more at the end as well. So I know when Sian was up there, they took a lot of pictures.
Yes.
Which is something that I think is really cool, because you can now really follow the astronauts' journey through social media or the pictures that they take. And they took loads of pictures, didn't they?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, they had on the SpaceX Dragon capsule that they were in, they had this dome of a window. It's the largest single window in space, and just the pictures that they got were just incredible. So it brings us on to our next question about like what's visible from space when you're there.
Yes, because Miss Brannock's 6th class in St. Mulligan's in Balbriggan, Dublin, they wanted to know, they've been studying recently about China, and they'd like to know if the Great Wall of China is really visible from space.
So according to NASA, if you were on the space station and you were just using your eyes with no cameras or no lenses, it's not visible. But the astronauts on the space station have really like cameras with big lenses where they can zoom in on things. So when you're using things like that, you can see much more details, including the Great Wall of China.
Absolutely. And there's lots of Earth observing satellites in orbit too that take pictures of our planet to monitor any changes from climate change or weather patterns as well. And they have fantastic cameras. So like give them a wave up. Sometimes they might even catch a wave. So I'm sure they take awesome pictures of the Earth and can figure out how it's changing over time, and they for sure can see the Great Wall of China.
Details,
yes, absolutely.
Yep.
So that's really cool, and we've got some really cool questions coming in here. And again, big shout out to everyone. We've got 3rd and 4th class in Newtown White, Educate Together National School, Ballina. Give them a plug as well. Dan in St. Column Kills. He'd like to know who's your favorite astronaut that you've ever met? Now, not a question I'm sure one could answer.
Yes.
But astronauts are a cool type of people, and I'm sure you've met many cool ones.
Yeah, it's like the favorite part of the training. It's so difficult to pick one. I mean, I've met loads of astronauts over the years, and they all have just really remarkable qualities and characteristics. And one person actually I met in 2006 was Eileen Collins, and she's a NASA astronaut, a retired NASA astronaut who has Irish heritage. So her father's side is from County Cork, and she's an amazing lady. Like, she became the first female to pilot and command the space shuttle. So this rocket here,
give it a little pet.
And yeah, it's our little pet rocket. Yeah. But just an amazing lady, and it got me thinking about like all of the astronauts who've been to space that actually have Irish heritage.
A large amount of them, isn't it?
And it's like an amazing project. I thought you guys might want to look into, if you want to research which of the astronauts have been to space with Irish heritage. And Eileen Collins is one amazing lady who
I think that's a lovely idea.
Is worth giving a shout.
That's a great activity if you have time this week, today, or an activity you can do anytime. Absolutely. It's really interesting to find out and research. Maybe do a little project on something. That's an activity for any teachers that you'd like to do space related, to find out more about astronauts with Irish heritage. You'd be quite surprised as well, and some very interesting things you can find out.
And send us your findings if you do.
Send us your findings. Exactly, because we want to encourage everyone in your classes or wherever you're watching from, take some pictures and videos. We'd love to see what you're getting up to for Space Week. We'd love to see pictures of you guys watching us right now. We'll pause at the end where we can all take a selfie together, and we'd love to see the excitement and the fun you're having. And we'll post our social media handles where you can tag us on either Instagram or Twitter, because we'd love to see who's behind the camera and watching us, because we see all these amazing questions coming in from around the country. So we'd love to see cool things that you got up to during Space Week, maybe pictures of your space project, and you can tag us on social media, because we would love to see all the cool things you're getting up to for Space Week. Sounds like a good plan.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we have another question coming in from Melview National School in Longford. They'd like to know, it's about the moon. They'd like to know, is the moon really moving away from Earth? Oh.
So yeah, we've had a lot of moon related questions, and planets we'd like to live on or like to visit.
Yes.
So yeah.
Actually, speaking of that, to her national school, they would like to know, if you had a choice, which planet would you like to visit?
Yes.
That might lead us into the moon thing. We'll go for that one, okay?
So which planet would okay, so which planet would I like to visit? I actually think the moons of planets are particularly interesting. So I think if I was to choose somewhere to go, I'd go to the moons of Jupiter. I think there's some really interesting moons there, because they're being pulled and pushed and squished by the huge planet of Jupiter. So there's really interesting things happening there. What about you?
Well, firstly, I'd love to know what type of situation I would end up in that I could choose to visit any planet I would want to. I'd love if that was the case. And I liked your answer that the moons are extremely interesting, aren't they? Because when we're talking about planets, luckily, we live on the best one, guys. We live on the best planet to visit. So thankfully, Earth is a fantastic, magical place that we should really take care of, because
Absolutely.
It's suitable to visit. Very nice. So I think
we
moons,
like it here.
We like it here. The other ones, not so kind of habitable.
Friendly.
Not so easy.
Friendly
not
us.
so friendly. But moons is nice. I think if I had to choose, moons of Jupiter sounds amazing. That would be really cool. I think I would just go for our moon.
Oh,
I
okay.
love our moon. It's the constant companion. It's there. That would be amazing. You could look back at Earth and give everyone you've ever known a wave in one go. I think that would be really cool. I think the moon would be amazing to go to. That was a great question, though. Let us know in the comments what planet would you like to visit.
Yeah.
And Norah will try and pull some strings and and sort that out for you. So that leads us nicely into the question from Melview National School in Longford, that is the moon really moving away from Earth?
Ever so slightly. Ever so slightly.
Almost 4 centimeters a year.
That's correct. Yeah.
Ever so slightly. So yeah, great question. And yes, it is. So we will love to get there soon.
Mark would anyway.
Yeah, I would really like to get there. Callum from Currabagan National School, whose teacher, Miss Neevshi, posted us in a question. Callum would like to know, why do meteors catch fire as they fall to Earth?
Hi Callum, how are you? Yeah, I actually thought this was an interesting one for you, Mark. Because Mark's background is in astrophysics, for those of you who didn't know. So he got to learn about lots of the different, stuff that goes on in the universe. So I thought this was a nice question for you.
Absolutely, and exactly, astrophysics and theoretical physics, and a great subject to study if you like to know more about how the universe works. From very, very big things like planets, stars and galaxies, to very, very small things like the atoms and molecules that make up things. So we got to learn all about the planets and how they work together, and the solar system and the universe. And I love shooting stars.
Okay.
Love them. I love watching the different shooting stars and the different meteor showers throughout the year. You guys can check them out in anywhere you can that has kind of dark skies.
They're magical,
as well.
Aren't they?
Oh, they're beautiful. But basically, the meteor is passing through the Earth's atmosphere, and it catches on fire then because of huge amounts of heat. So luckily, our wonderful atmosphere allows us to breathe and live on Earth, and it's made up of lots of molecules that we breathe in and breathe out. So these molecules bash into the meteor like little footballs bashing off it, and that friction creates heat, and that heat causes it to burn up. So that's why you see a streak of bright fire passing across the sky as it heats up. Also why the landers and the capsules, when they're landing back on Earth, they're covered in real heat resistant material because of that huge amount of heat energy that builds up as it's shooting through the atmosphere. So great question, Callum. Very, very good. Nora, we have so many questions.
There's loads of questions coming in here. Thank you so much for all the great questions.
Absolutely. And we are going to try and get through a few more, because we got St. Columkills in Kells. We got so many awesomes. We got St. Nicholas Parochial School in Galway. Lots of guys from Galway. I see lots of schools from Clare, Galway tuning in as well. Some amazing questions. We're so happy you're joining us for the World Space Week event. Nora, I think we'll get through a few more questions.
Let's do it. Yep.
And then we'll tell all the guys about our competition as well. So I think that would be a really cool idea as well, because it'll give them something to prepare,
to do, yep.
Which I think will be cool. So we've got lots coming in. So let's see who we got. We've got so many space-related questions. Ursula's clearly loving the show as well. We're loving having you here. And we got brilliant ones as well. Okay, Sinead would like to know, are you nervous about going to space? Would you be nervous?
Not now. Like, not
now.
nervous now. It's something I've wanted to do.
Not in this moment. Like right in this moment.
But I just think, imagine after all the preparation and all the time and all the training to get to that launch day. I think it possibly would be more excitement and more happiness that has finally arrived, rather than nervousness.
Okay.
But I'll let you know.
I love that. I'll let you know. I love these questions coming in. They're absolutely fantastic. Let's see who we got here. Okay, so how long will it take to get to space?
Yeah, great question.
Yeah.
So they actually over the last few years have brought the time to get to space down, to get to the International Space Station. So they might have taken like a day or 2 days to get there with the orbits and everything, and then they've reduced it to a few hours. So they have been able to change trajectories, change orbits, and they can get there now in a few hours. So really, really cool.
Michael in Kilcoe National School in Cork, he like now is a bumpy going to space.
Oh,
rough ride.
yeah. So I suppose it might depend on the rocket. So as part of Space Camp, Mark and I looked at G-forces.
Oh, yeah.
So the different types of forces that you feel. So, the space shuttle is a very different type of rocket compared to, say, the Blue Origin or the SpaceX, where it's a stacked rocket and you have the capsule with the people on top of it. So very different configurations. But you do feel those forces on the way to space. So again, you can do the training to understand what those forces feel like. Do they make you feel sick? Can you move your arms and, do whatever it is you need to do while you're under this, 2, 3, 4G load. So again, you're prepared for all of these things in advance.
There's no ride like it, I'm sure. A lovely question came in from Chloe that I thought was really nice. And she just wants to know if we both love our jobs.
Oh.
I thought it was very nice.
Yeah, that is a lovely question.
Yeah. I think it's very important to love your job, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
I think the best route to get there is to follow things that you like doing.
And like learning about.
Yeah, so the great thing about science is it's the study of everything. And that includes the things that you like. So you get the chance to study things that you like. So there may be many things that you guys out there really enjoy doing. So you can learn more about those things and follow the things that you really like. Passion, whether it is to go to space, whether it be to play football, and you can understand how the role of science and technology can help you understand those things and to get better at those things. So I thought it was a really nice question from Chloe. And I think
that's a lovely
that would be, I think, our advice to follow something you're passionate about and that you like doing.
Yeah.
It's very simple, but not always so simple to do.
Absolutely.
But something that you guys should always remember to follow things that you enjoy, and they will make you happy in the end, and you will enjoy working on those topics. Really nice question from Chloe. Now, there are so many, and we won't be able to get through all of them, but we've loved having all your questions come in. So we'd like to, you've put your questions to us, and we'd like to put a competition to you. So we did say at the start of the show, there will be a few space packs that we'll send out to some schools that have joined us here today. And to enter in for a chance, what are they going to have to do?
We have a very simple task, actually, for this competition. We wanted to make it as easy as possible. So all we'd like you to do is to send us in a picture of something that you did during Space Week. It could be this event.
Yes.
It could be something you made earlier in the week. It could be whatever it is. So all you need to do to enter the competition is to send myself and Mark on our social media, which Mark is going to share with you all now.
Here, so you guys can show us.
Show us what you've done for Space Week, and then we'll pick a couple of random winners, and we'll have a couple of space goodie packs to send to you.
Great. And it can be anything, an activity they did during the week, a picture you took as a class together. They could be researching the project, example of astronauts with Irish heritage. They can look up anything related to the theme of Space Week this year, which is women in space.
Yes.
So all the fantastic women who've worked in many different areas of human spaceflight. To progress our knowledge and understanding, be it astronauts, be it people who worked in the control room, of which there are some amazing people, many of which you know as well.
Yes,
So you can let us know these things, pictures or videos or information, a fun fact you found out. Let us know on these tags, and we will pick some random lucky winners. I think that would be cool.
Looking forward to that.
Yes, absolutely. And we also want to let you know that if you are looking for something fun to watch, that's all about space, lots of the answers to some of the questions will be in it as well.
The food questions, the G-force questions, all of those, we go in a lot more detail in our space camp, so you can tune in. I'll give you guys a little trailer of what we did in Space Camp, because you put me through a lot of tests of the astronaut training to see if I had what it took, and we did lots more about the food and the microgravity as well. So check out this.
that is Family Space Camp, and you can check that out. Google it. It's on the Irish Times website.
We'll post it as well on our...
We'll post it, and you can bash into Google and you can find 5 episodes. So plenty there, and it was so much fun. Like, you could see us trying to recreate some sort of weightlessness thing, sticking us in a skydive chamber.
And hopefully it'll answer a lot of the... Like, we've had so many questions today, and just to say thank you so much again for all of the questions that have come in. I'm so inspired when I see all of these questions coming in.
Oh, Nora, before we go, I'm going to show the guys, this is an example of a project that some of the guys did on you, actually.
So we were thinking this is a nice example for any of you who want to do that project about astronauts who've been to space with Irish heritage. This was just a lovely example of a school in Mayo who did a project on my journey to get to space, and I just thought it's a lovely example of if you want to do your project like this, it's just a lovely example of how they've taken snippets from different things. They've used newspaper articles, looked things up on the internet. So you could do the same for your project in school.
And we have a cool picture here. This is you and Wally Funk.
Yeah, so this is Wally Funk. So this is the lady I mentioned who got to fly to space just last July with Blue Origin, and honestly there was so many of us just so excited to see her fly. She was in her early 80s, 82 she flew to space, and I got to meet her a few years ago, and actually she took me, she's a pilot, and she has an amazing aviation background, and she took me on a light aircraft for a flight. So that was really amazing to have met her years ago, and then to have seen her fly to space after all this time.
Yes. Elon, we're in the middle of a live show. Me and Nora are quite busy right now. It's Elon Musk. He just won't stop calling us. I know. We're almost finished with it. We've got through some of their questions. Yeah, I think a lot of them seemed pretty suitable. He's looking for anyone who wants to go to Mars. Yeah, I think...
who's up for going to Mars?
Elon, we have lots of them who seem like they'd love to go to Mars. Okay, great. He just says keep studying in school, keep being curious, and... Okay, good. Yeah, I think he's pretty happy. He's excited to send an Irish person to Mars. So I told him we got loads of people watching this. Elon, we're kind of busy right now. Can I call you back? I'll call you back. No, yeah, stick on the kettle. See ya. Yeah. That chap just won't stop calling us. Good Lord. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We have been delighted to join you and celebrate
great.
World Space Week with you guys. And I hope you had a lovely Space Week and got to do lots of cool activities. Thank you so much for your questions. They're absolutely awesome, and we've loved seeing them. We've loved answering as many as we could. Thank you guys from tuning in from, firstly, all over the country, from different parts of Ireland, and then from Rome, from Bermuda.
From Ballina.
It's not a separate part of the world. But Nora, and thank you for sharing your wonderful knowledge with some future astronauts or future space travelers. That would be cool. I've loved hearing all about it as well. I'm sure everyone else has as well. So I think we will wrap up our Space Week. We hope to see some of your pictures and videos. Do send them in to us. The taglines are there and there, and you can let us know the fun you got up to for Space Week.
Would love to see.
Would love to see it. So a massive thank you to all the teachers out there doing
amazing
wonderful
jobs. Absolutely. Yep.
Wonderful jobs, inspiring the next generation, and a big shout out to all of you from the next generation who will continue to inspire us as well. So guys, thank you so much. Hope you have a lovely Space Week. We've loved joining you here in this, again, virtual format. And thank you for your comments coming in as well. We really enjoyed it too. From myself.
Yes, we'll see you next year if we don't see it before then. And again, as Mark said, great to join you today. Really, really, really enjoyed it. And we'll see you soon.
Happy Space Week, guys.